Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Times with Willy B, we'll be reviewing Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russ, take it away, baby.
Welcome back to Fast Times with Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got Mike back. Mike, how are we doing today?
Doing great. It feels great to be back.
Excited
to talk about some giant monsters kicking each other's asses, you know?
There you go.
Can't go wrong with that.
That's the name of the game, right? So today we'll be
Yes,
reviewing Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire, the fifth installment in the MonsterVerse franchise.
Yes, sir.
We got Adam Wingard back in the director's chair. He did Godzilla vs. Kong. Quite the resume. I didn't realize all that he had done, but he kicked off the VHS franchise, did the first two. He did ABC's of Death.
I did not know that.
He did You're Next. He did the
Have you
Netflix
seen-
Death Note.
Have you seen all of the VHS franchise?
Not all of them.
I do want to watch this. We should
We
do a little
this.
marathon.
Little side note, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But, yeah, quite the resume, especially if you're a fan of horror, B-movie horror. But nonetheless, he brings in his second film in this franchise. Most of the cast is back, or not back, but the cast that we have, most of it's from the last movie. I think Trapper's the only new.
Yeah, and obviously a smaller cast too, but I'm pretty sure other than Trapper, the other three characters are all returning.
So we got Rebecca Hall. She's back as, what's her name? Dr. Andrews.
Dr. Andrews,
She's the mom of Gia. Gia's back, played by Kaylee Hoddle. And then we got Brian Tyree Henry back as Bernie, the podcaster.
And Gia is also the native.
Yeah,
one of the natives.
Yep.
The last native from Skull Island.
Yep.
So.
And then Dan Stevens, he's Trapper. That's mainly it for cast. I mean, we have a few supporting characters here and there, but
Yeah, and then there's snippets of past characters and stuff, but we don't need to talk about those.
You really just follow along with these four the entire movie.
Most of the cast is the big guys.
You
know what I'm saying?
This is a monster movie where you get to see the big guys a lot.
Yeah, it's truly is a monster movie.
But we'll start with the good. Obviously, for the most part, the effects were fantastic, and this was a spectacle. There were some minor flaws in the effects towards the beginning, but for the most part, when you're building out this Hollow Earth and you're going even deeper into Hollow Earth, everything they created was just so easy to watch, so easy
and
to
it was mind-blowing, and the music choices they put along with revealing every single area of Hollow Earth was perfectly executed.
Liked the music. We can jump into that in a bit too. The score and
sure.
soundtrack. You kind of get more of a score when fights are going on, like epic battles are going on, but you get a soundtrack when things are being revealed, and it's a lot of classic rock. We get some Loverboy in there.
Do you remember what I told you about in Godzilla X Kong, the original Godzilla X Kong, is when they were revealing more of Hollow Earth in that movie, it gave me Guardians of the Galaxy vibes. Where it was classic rock or just older music, just a vibe to set the tone of that whole new whimsical area.
For sure. They did it again with this one, when Trapper flies in the birds during the final fight, and Turn Me Loose by Loverboy comes on. You were like, what did you say? And I'm over here singing.
Yeah.
Loverboy. But no, the score and soundtrack was very good. The soundtrack was a little different too. There was almost an 80s feel during some of it. When the one scene when they're getting off one of the jets, it almost has that techno, 80s pop beat to it.
100% agree. Is that when they were getting off to the Kong outpost in Hollow Earth? I remember exactly what you're talking about.
So score and soundtrack was fantastic. I thought it all fit with where it was at in the film.
I was pleased with all the music choices.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's on the same level as Guardians, but it's it's not too far behind. It's not too far behind. But yeah, the score and soundtrack was great. The sound for the most part was great. VFX for the most part was great.
Speaking of sound, when you get those heavy haymakers from Kong and just the hits from those
the sounds they made with the Gauntlet too, and then obviously anytime the buildup of Godzilla,
oh my god, the atomic breath buildup,
dude,
is so iconic, bro. It gives you chills every time.
So that was all really good. Brian Tyree Henry was my standout for this film.
Bernie?
Bernie
was awesome. Yeah.
He, we'll get into dialogue for me at least later, but in a movie that it felt like the dialogue wasn't the strongest, anytime he was speaking, I felt like it was at its best.
Yes, and I felt like he may have had like the most dialogue.
Yeah.
If you were to think about it.
He had the most comedic relief too. And that was another thing. A lot of not all the jokes landed for me, but all of his did.
All of his did, yeah.
The one scene when
I also thought Trapper had some pretty funny.
Yes, I liked the chemistry
between those two
characters. I was gonna say that when he brings the jet down and Trapper lands, and he's like, "I'm gonna kiss you on the mouth." He's getting on a jet.
When they first land in like the subterranean area of Hollow Earth,
yeah,
and then Bernie starts documenting. And then Trapper's like, "What are you doing, man? Like these natives, you're kind of ruining how secretive they are by documenting it." And it's just, and then he kind of just says, "Can you say that again? I'm gonna re-record it.
You already saved the world. What else do you need?" And he's like, "Can you say that again?" No, their chemistry was great. The dynamic between those two characters was probably the best we got on the screen as far as character dynamics go.
For sure, yeah.
I really liked Brian Tyree Henry. I'm glad he was one of the ones to return in this film. We got all of the action was pretty good. I think Godzilla versus Kong had a better big fight overall.
Yes,
but the big fight here was still great, and we got some Kong fights. It really showed a spotlight on Kong in this film. And dude, I did like that.
Like the Kong versus Scar King fight in the like lava area. Yeah. Like, bro, that was such a good choreographed fight. Because it was the two like most agile and like kind of intelligent in a fighting sense. Titans fighting each other. Yeah. So you got to see like how agile Scar King was and how smart Kong is keeping up with him and stuff. So that was probably the most like intense fight. Yeah. And we got another Kong fight even before that where he first discovers there's more apes in Hollow Earth. Yes. And he uses Mini Kong as a weapon. Which, speaking on Mini Kong, that's another good for me. The way that their relationship progressed was awesome. It was after that Mini Kong. It was after that fight that like Mini Kong realized, oh my god, this guy's he's tough shit. Yeah, I might have to start following him. Exactly. After using me as a weapon, I think I should probably start.
But no, that was a really cool dynamic, a little added thing there. I like the spotlight of Kong because we got a Godzilla movie, we got a Kong movie, and then we got a Kong and Godzilla movie. And then we got King of the Monsters. Yeah. So this one was kind of like Kong's chance to show that he's the king of Hollow Earth, but is he? Now that we found there's more Hollow Earth, and then Godzilla's there to help him solidify.
Yeah, I think Godzilla is like the true king.
Oh, for sure.
But like, I think that subterranean area where Kong is, and I think he's more of like the king over the apes. Yep. Who protect humanity, and then Godzilla protects the Earth. Thing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like,
so it was cool to see that spotlight on Kong, though, and then when it came to the big daddy of them all, Godzilla was there. But at first, Godzilla was pissed at first that he was up there. Yeah, we get a little Mothra action because
he was like you can stay down there. Yeah, and I'll stay up here. And then he came up and just saw red.
I love it because Godzilla, when Kong came up, he goes like this right off the rip,
and then Godzilla just decked him into that pyramid, which is crazy.
Good luck rebutting those, but landmark after landmark just taken down, man. But no, that was a cool scene. Then Mothra is brought back by Gia because Gia is the last of the Skull Island tribe.
And that tribe originally worshipped Mothra as like the queen of the Titans.
Yep. So she said she was the last one from Skull Island. She was the only one that could bring Mothra back. I don't know how I felt about that whole storyline, but it made sense.
It was kind of felt like a clusterfuck. It kind of just felt thrown in there a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It
felt like a cop out, but they at least made details to make it all connect. Yeah. But when then Mothra comes out of the portal and was like, no. Yeah. We're teaming up with this guy.
Stops Godzilla again. Yeah. Well, she didn't stop him the first time because remember in Godzilla X Kong when he was about to kill Kong, he realized you're not worth it. Yeah. But Godzilla was about fed up and ready to just blow his head off, and then Mothra comes in and saves the day.
So I was happy to see some more Mothra.
I was wondering that what I liked about it is I was wondering like when it was about to happen, I was like, how is he gonna stop himself right now? Is he gonna do that again? But then when Mothra came in, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I kinda something you would see coming, but it still caught me off guard a little bit, which I liked. Yeah.
we talked about how good this movie looks, and it really follows more of Hollow Earth. I'm glad it did that because we didn't get the destinations that we usually get on Earth. We got some more Antarctica. There's not much to see. We kind of got Egypt in the desert.
Yeah.
But, like, the best part about Godzilla vs. Kong is when they're in Hong Kong and all of that light,
dude,
that
the
spectacle.
neon city.
So, I'm glad Hollow Earth could add to the vibe, the aesthetic, and really add the color grade to this, the color palette, I should say.
And obviously it's heavily focused on Hollow Earth.
Yeah.
Because, the beginning of the final fight takes place in the zero gravity area of Hollow Earth, so which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But
let's go to the final fight. This movie had a lot of build up.
let me talk about one thing.
It's go ahead.
Real quick is, I was telling you, my favorite Titan since I was a kid, used to play as her in the video games and all this stuff. Finally got introduced. I just... Because, we find out after Kong and Scar King's fight that Scar King has this ice crystal which somehow controls Shimo.
Yeah.
And when I found that out, I was like, man, I wish Shimo had control of herself so we could see, which, eventually...
We probably will.
Which we'll talk about,
Shimo and Kong went back to...
So we'll probably see Shimo again if we have another film, but I wish she would have had... Which, that's obviously, part of the plot and stuff, which I totally get, but...
Yeah.
I can't really complain too much, but that's one of my minor complaints about it.
Yeah. But
to the final fight.
Big fight. This is probably my last thing in the good, was the big fight. We had a lot of build-up, which we'll get into that, but this final fight was really, really good. Like you said, we had the control... And then once the crystal gets loose, it's a little fight for that while fight's still going on. And I don't know, it was very well choreographed. It's, your usual, let's knock out every building while we can along the way. There was some really cool stuff that Scar King did with his
ripping
spine,
part of the building off and just whipping it.
Yep. And then Godzilla, obviously, taking all of the power and radiation from various sources. We get the pink version, the supercharged Godzilla, and his radiation, his atomic breath.
Dude,
throughout the final fight was fantastic.
I loved the scene going back to how he became pink. Was he fought? I forget the Titan's name, but it's one of the Titans.
I can't remember it either.
Tuzami or something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
And it was like that, an aquatic Titan that gets energy. It's like the point on Earth that gets the most energy from space, and it harvests it underwater in its cavern, and then Godzilla fights it and gets the energy. But I loved the scene where they were fighting, and then he gets wrapped up, and then gets covered up, and then you see his eyes glow up through the flaps of the other Titan, and then it pans out to outside the ocean, and you just hear boom, 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 and then just
and then just chunks of this dude
chunks
falling
of
into
shit
the water.
just fall. I was like, that was badass.
Yeah, that was really good too. A lot of the scenes where Godzilla's in it were really good.
And
we didn't get a lot of Godzilla, but when we got him, it was worthwhile.
And I liked when he was harvesting that power, and then you see in the I guess he was in a frozen kind of state when he was harvesting it, and then they zoom into it and you see his eyes glow pink for the first time. And I was like, that was a good little shot there.
Yeah, we get, obviously the fight starts in zero gravity, and then it comes to Earth, and throughout the entire runtime of the fight, it was all, you're on the edge of your seat watching. But going back to the zero gravity, I loved the scene where they're running at each other, and then Kong jumps up on Godzilla's back, and then you see Kong leap as Scar King leaps, and then Godzilla...
Kong and Scar King, and then Shimo and Godzilla.
That was a really cool shot, too.
Slow motion, that was so sick. Yeah. That was so sick.
I saw somebody say that, that scene was made for the boys' night out. Something like that. And I was like, oh, yeah, There's just dudes
every guy would say, hell yeah.
Yeah. I think we leaned at each other and said,
I think we said, hell yeah.
But, no, that was cool. The movie overall, I would say, was good.
I liked how Baby Kong had that little moment on the rock where he was in Zero Gravity where he was fighting one of the other apes, and then he just gave him a kick.
And then when he brings the axe back into Earth for Kong 2, that was cool as well.
That was a good little... Because it was like, how's Kong going to get it? It's stuck. And then Baby Kong coming in clutch again.
Yep. But overall, there was...
And Baby Kong kicking the rocks off when he was getting chased by the apes.
Yeah.
He was coming in clutch,
he,
dude.
He came in when he was needed most. Yeah, clutch is the word to use for Mini Kong. But is there anything you'd like to add in the good?
Yeah, I'd like to add in the good. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah.
We can move on, but if anything pops up in my head,
just mention the final thoughts.
Yeah, I'll just mention the final thoughts. Yeah.
So we'll move on to the meh then. First thing I'll put in the meh here is I feel like there was just too much background going on. And that's mainly in the first two acts. I thought we had a fantastic third act, obviously, which is the final fight, but the buildup was so long, and I feel like it was just a lot of information being regurgitated that we have already heard in the first four movies. And I'm like, I get it. It's a lot to remember.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the people that are with you on the fifth movie are probably coming in with the background knowledge.
Yeah. Or people are literally just going to watch, big ass monsters fight, and they don't care about the story. You know what I'm saying?
I think it was a little bit of like putting too much on the plate.
Here, I got a good for you. I liked how we saw that like crab like titan at the beginning during like the intro that Godzilla fought. But I liked in Hollow Earth how we got to see like Kong and other creatures and like more creatures of Hollow Earth interact with each other. I didn't expect to see like that much of like they really took like the monster aspect of the movie and got to see Kong fight that big ass water serpent. Yeah. And like those like kind of hyena things at the beginning that he was fighting. Like you got to really see like what's down there, which I was curious about. Like
for sure.
You didn't get to see that much in the first Godzilla Kong.
Yeah. Whenever there was action, that was the good stuff. I just feel like we got a lot of background info that we've already known thrown at us again. And I don't know, it really another meh for me would be the pacing. I think that was a big part of it. I think throwing that information at us slowed down the movie sometimes. I don't know. There was like moments where I'm like, okay, can we get to one of these big bads fighting? Like we know this already.
Right.
It's I put it in the meh because it's nothing that killed the movie for me, but I'm just like it's things we could have done without. Yeah. You could have put different things there or made the final fight longer or you know what I mean?
One thing that was also like another meh thing for me was like when they arrived in Hollow Earth, obviously like they had like some of them had been there but the people were like all in awe about this place. But then when they got into like, the natives' chamber with these crystals and the crazy shit going on, it felt like they weren't acting that surprised. Like they weren't like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or the thing that they were going for too. Yeah. The triangles, the SOS signal that was being sent by the tribe. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely see
even though, they're used to at this point seeing crazy shit. I mean, this is a whole like fictional universe that they're used to seeing all these big monsters and this Hollow Earth, which what's so surprising about this? We've seen some crazy shit, but still, like I if I was walking in there, I'd still be like,
for sure,
have something to say. Like
that's why I'd put the writing in the map because this movie was well directed. This movie was well shot.
Very well shot, dude. Oh my god.
The action was great, well choreographed, but whenever we didn't have action going on, the writing was a little lackluster, especially if Brian Tyree Henry was on the screen. I feel like when he was on the screen, the dialogue was at its best, but it wasn't the best written movie in the it was probably the worst written movie in the MonsterVerse, and I still liked the movie. Yeah. But as far as the 5 MonsterVerse movies, this was probably the worst writing we got.
Yeah, I would not disagree with you on that.
But I don't think it's bad. Again, I'd put it in the meh. It could have been written better, but it wasn't bad writing.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
But yeah, I mean that's the big mess for me. There's nothing really else here. For me, I don't know if you have anything else in the meh. I have like a couple bad that are nitpicks, but they're not like anything that would like ruin a movie.
Right.
But did you have anything else for the meh?
I really don't. I kind of yeah.
So we'll hop over to the bad then. My first nitpick is at the beginning when Kong rips that lizard hyena thing in half. The blood looked horrible.
Oh my god, I was thinking the same.
When that happened, I was like, oh no, please don't tell me the special effects are going to be this bad. Yeah. Thankfully, that was about it.
I was thinking the exact same.
That's why when we were talking about the good, I said most of the special effects were good. Yeah. Because that one scene, I was like, oh no, if this is like...
And then even the background during that kind of looked off. It just looked like it was like...
Not done.
It wasn't, unfinished.
Yeah. Like, so that's one of the nitpicks I have there. And then I'd say the biggest bad thing, I guess, is they were just trying to do too much.
Yeah.
I think and again, I've enjoyed every movie in the MonsterVerse. I enjoyed this movie. Another movie that I'd put on the same level as this was probably King of the Monsters, and I think overall it's a good movie, but it was another case of you're just trying to do too much, and it gets to be a lot.
But also at the same time, they got to switch up the formula a little bit and add
sure.
some more stuff.
I'm not saying like doing too much as we have too many Titans, because that was the best part of King of the Monsters, like having all those Titans, and again having the 2v2 go down, and this was the best part of the movie, the final fight. I'm just saying, like, in King of the Monsters, you're following different storylines because there's different groups in different places. That was what I meant by they were doing too much. And this one, just giving us that background information, regurgitating it all again.
Yeah, they could have. That could have been replaced with like new stuff, like trying to like pan out or like condense these storylines into like, maybe one or two instead of like 4 things going on at once. For sure,
But that's it for me in the bad. Like, there's nothing that really was like glaringly bad in my opinion.
That blood. That green blood that was just bad.
That was the worst of the worst. I almost looked at you, but I was like, I don't want Mike to think I hate this movie off the rip.
Yeah, so I was literally thinking about looking at you too. I was like, ooh.
I was like, yeah, that was rough.
That was,
but it obviously cleaned itself up as the movie went on, thankfully.
Yeah, I have the same opinions on you for the bad.
Yeah. Nothing
really. A little bit, like, especially towards the end, like I still kind of enjoyed the ending. It was a solid ending, but like, towards the end, when like, Mothra and Gia were in the scene at the end, and then everything was kind of getting like closed up, that felt like a clusterfuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They panned into everything that was going on in the movie, like back to back to back. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, slow down.
Information overload. Yeah.
Slow down.
That's the big thing. They're just throwing too much at us at once, and that's why I guess this is more of a mad than a bad, but we were talking about it. The Gia storyline with her being the only one able to bring back Mothra felt like a cop-out that, again, goes into the writing, I think. But, like I said, I can't be mad at it because it all, like, made sense. It all connected. But, I don't know, it just felt like a weird way to conclude that whole thing and get Mothra back. But
and some of those things could have been saved for another movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But I mean, honestly, the lore is so deep in the even before our current MonsterVerse, like older movies, and how many Titans there are that they even know about right now.
Exactly.
So like they're probably thinking, we can't sit here and make 30 movies. Like they're like, we should probably try to condense some stuff into these movies, which in the end isn't the best way to do it. But I mean, maybe they got to do what they got to do. I
mean, they still made it an enjoyable.
They still make it work. Yeah, I'd watch that movie again.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But we can hop over to our final thoughts, and to start with final thoughts before we get into the rating of this, or no, we'll do rating first. After you give your rating of this film, give me how you'd rank the MonsterVerse.
My 1 and 2 are so close together. My 1 and 2 is like Godzilla 2014 and Godzilla X Kong. Okay. I'm at 1 and 2.
Or Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, it is it titled versus Kong?
Yeah.
Oh.
So you're going 2014 and then Godzilla versus Kong.
Godzilla versus Kong. Yes. Okay. And then so then I'll tell you my 3 is King of the Monsters.
Okay.
Then Skull Island, and then my last is
this
The New Empire.
Okay.
Which I mean,
what do you give it out of 10?
I'd probably give this one a solid 6.5 to a 7. But if we're going by 5s, I'd go closer to 7. So I'm gonna go 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I'm gonna land on a 7 as well. I was in between 6.5 to 7. I'd say like low 6 or high 6, low 7 range.
Yes.
And I have it in the 5th spot as well. And it's not to say that, again, I didn't like this movie. I thought it was well done.
It's a 7.
A 7 out of 10 is a good movie. Yeah.
It's a worth a watch.
It's solid.
Movie.
It's solid.
Yeah.
It's just, again, the writing was definitely the worst of the 5 we've gotten. 4th, I'm going King of the Monsters. And then 3rd, I would go Godzilla 2014. 2nd, Godzilla versus Kong. And 1 for me is Kong Skull Island.
But my 1 and 2 are just like they flip flop.
Yeah.
Because there's so many like scenes that I love in that movie that are in both movies that are some of my favorite. And I think they're both just as well written and
the top three is really close for me. Which we have the same. No, you have,
you have for Kong me it's fourth, swapped.
Yeah, you have Kong
King of the Monsters and Kong.
Swapped, but you're three in my top three. Yeah. We both agree that they're really close. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honestly, like, it's been a fun 5-movie ride. I know it's not. I don't think it's over. This one did have a post-credit scene, which was kind of weird.
It kind of shocks me that this was like some of these movies were the first time you've seen them. You know what I'm saying? Especially Godzilla versus Kong. Like being a newer movie and it being on Max this long and you haven't. Yeah. And watching how much you liked it. Yeah. Just watched it last night. And
yeah, I kind of liked that though, going into it fresh.
Shout out Sarek. I love how Sarek just came over. Like he was like, I'm gonna stay for 10 minutes and probably go shower, and he just stayed for the whole movie. Yeah. He was like asking me questions, shit like, bro, is Godzilla and Kong gonna fight? Yeah. When are they gonna fight? Are they gonna team up? And I was like, watch the movie, Sarek.
That was funny. That was funny. That was a good time. But watching. I mean, I watched all of them. Not all of them were first time watches, but I watched all of them this week, like I do for every, get prepared for the movie. But, watching them and then going in with all that fresh on the brain.
Oh, yeah.
It's always nice. But
yeah, because that was the previous one. So, like, it was good for us to follow along for this new movie.
For sure. But yeah, 5 movies, I would say.
So your ranking was like Skull Island was number 1 and Godzilla vs. Kong was number 2, right?
Yeah. So we have the same 2.
We have the same
number 2. Our ones are different. And then for me, Godzilla would go in 3rd, and then King of Monsters, and then the New Empire. But yeah, I mean, like we said, New Empire's 5th, but I still think it's a solid film. So that just goes to show that they're doing a good job.
And back to like the whole Shimo thing is like he freaking started the first ice age.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the same, like it's the same, and the common fan theory, which is probably true, is that she froze King Ghidorah. Yeah. That's why he's in this giant, like, how the hell did he get frozen like that? Yeah. It was obviously Shimo.
I feel like we're going to get more of her.
We're probably going to, I think it's cool that she's becoming a protagonist. Have they announced
the 6th movie? I don't think they have.
I think we would have gotten a post-credit scene.
That's what I'm confused by. I feel like they're not done, but, like, nothing's been said. But if they're not done, I feel like they did a good job at, like, being able to set up more for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Or at least excited about series.
It kind of gave me like the same vibe as like Kang in Ant-Man, where like he's a powerful character, but they're obviously setting him up for more, like exactly. It's so they had to kind of like nerf him a little bit, if you will,
yeah, for sure.
Same with Shimo,
for sure. We'll have to keep our eye out for.
Dude, and we're going to see the next one whenever it comes out.
Yeah.
And I need to watch Shin Godzilla too, man.
You watch Godzilla -1 as well.
And Godzilla -1.
That
one actually
that's my favorite Godzilla.
Those are the 2 that I want to watch. Have you heard anything about Shin Godzilla?
I've heard about it. I have not seen that one.
Those are both considered like the 2 best Godzillas.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Like, yeah. Godzilla -1 was fantastic.
Oh man,
the fact that it took home best VFX on a $15 million budget is insane.
Supposedly at most $15 million budget.
Yamazaki was like, I wish I had that much.
You shouldn't, because you made history with this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Imagine if he had like $100 million at least.
Oh my god,
budget.
There's something to be said about a smaller budget. I feel like more heart's put into it that way. When you can throw money at everything, I feel like you lose.
Yeah,
some things.
There it goes. I mean, Marvel speaks for itself.
So, yeah, lately.
Lately, more money keep making. It's just, I don't know.
But that'll do it for Godzilla and Kong, the New Empire. Mike, thank you for coming on, my man. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure being on here. Can't wait to come back.
Yes. We were already talking. What were we talking? We were in the previews. Oh, another Alien. You elevator pitched me on bringing you on for that one. Now you're a
Turbo, my guy. I'm sorry. Maybe next time.
No, we'll see.
Or we do a double feature.
Or I could just one of you guys do the review and one of you guys do a franchise review. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
I'll do it. I would do either. So,
but
you can leave that at the Turbo if you want to ask.
We'll get it all figured out though.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of movies coming out. So
yeah.
But we thank you all for watching. Of course, if you like what you're watching, check out some more of the videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. You're already here, so you might as well do so. But again, thank you for watching, and we will talk to you all soon. Peace.